Hello again, everyone. So let's talk about Howard Lutnick for a minute, or as I heard it termed today, and I think I'm going to go with that, Howard Nutlick. So the Biden's CHIPS Act, and by the way, I just try to give you snippets so that you can kind of know what's going on without having to dig in yourself. So the CHIPS Act, Biden had put that in place, $52.7 billion in subsidies available for the manufacture and the production of semiconductor chips, which we need for our phones and computers. And some of you may remember back during COVID, they only came from China. So that was something put in place. Anyway, so Howard Lutnick, he is the Commerce Secretary. So this week, Trump signed an executive order setting up a new entity to take over the CHIPS program. And wouldn't you know, that's going to the Commerce Department under Nutlick. You know him. He's the one who said if his mother-in-law missed her Social Security check, she would not complain. And the people who do complain are fraudsters. This is how out of touch these people are. The man's a billionaire. I'm sure his mother-in-law would not complain. Has no concept of people relying on that. So now it's going to him, and I'm sure it will be handled with the utmost of care and transparency. So, a little bit more about him. During the Senate confirmation hearings, there were a lot of questions to him, and one of them, particularly one senator, I don't remember which one, was concerned about his China connections because he does business with a financial entity in China, and that was something that was of concern, like how are you going to further, because one of the main things is to further the U.S.'s interest in these things, like not just the chips, but other things as well, to close that gap with China. So he was also questioned because in Project 2025, one of the things that they talk about, remember, I have videos that you should watch about tariffs in Project 2025, please, in their entirety. They're really good for you. But NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, so he'll be, he's over that too in that, in the Commerce Department. So they wanted to know if he wouldn't be making cuts there because the NOAA is responsible for like forecasting and such. And we're expected to have a year, a hurricane season and all sorts of, we're seeing it already. So good forecasting is important. So anyway, he assured them that he would not cut that. And currently 1,000 jobs are projected to be cut from NOAA. And there's reports that are suggesting they're going to be closing down some of the NOAA facilities too. They were also going to cut a National Weather Service facility in Oklahoma, but there was so much pushback, and that one was so important. Not that they all aren't, but they closed quite a few. Some states don't have any. So just to know what's going on with weather prediction, as well as FEMA is supposed to be scrapped. So all these red states that rely so heavily on FEMA and Medicaid and all of those things, they get more than blue states, are going to be in for a little surprise. So anyway, scientists are concerned about that. And I want you to watch, because just after this, there's a short little clip. And what you're going to be looking at is training videos. So Politico found the training videos for the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. It's like Stepford Wives, and I don't know, it's so weird. But watch what they say about global warming and climate change, because this is one thing they particularly wanted to attack in Project 2025 because they don't believe in it, and they specifically are targeting it, which is why Nutlick was asked this question. Okay, so watch this.
That was during the Obama administration.
Yes.
And then science comes along and disproves the global warming theory in large part, and we have one of the most frigid winters ever known. And then the next thing you know, they're calling it climate change. Now, I always understood that climate change meant seasons. Our climate does change all the time, but of course that's not what's meant by the left. What do you think about all of about the left's words and definitions in the environment?
It's a great point, Katie. They don't stop. Climate change allegedly is everywhere. And if the American people elect a conservative president, his administration will have to eradicate climate change references from absolutely everywhere. And according to our intelligence community, the #1 threat facing our country today is, drumroll, climate change. Not Russia, not China, not AI, climate change. This shows how the federal government is all in on this issue. And climate change activists wield a lot of power. This is an issue to pay attention to as it has infiltrated every part of the federal government. Now, when I think of climate change, I immediately think of population control, don't you? I think about the people who don't want you to have children because of the impact on the environment. Perhaps not everyone will make that connection, but after spending time in the international space trying to protect life, I can tell you that this is part of their ultimate goal, to control people.